Tell us what's happening in Nigeria. And as you know, I've been very vocal calling out the mass murder of Christians. Over 50,000 Christians have been murdered in Nigeria since 2009. Over 20,000 churches and schools have been destroyed, burned to the ground. And you have Boko Haram and other radical Islamic terrorist groups that are targeting and persecuting Christians in particular. And I will tell you, the government of Nigeria is very unhappy with me. They have decried my saying this. I have introduced legislation to designate them a country of special concern. And the government of Nigeria is very unhappy. And I've said, look, there are far too many government leaders who have turned a blind eye to what is happening, who have acquiesced in what is happening, who are enforcing either Sharia laws or blasphemy laws and facilitating the persecution of Christians. And as I said, the Nigerian government has been vigorously resisting me in this. Give me your judgment. What do you see happening in Nigeria, and what do you think is actually the truth?
Nigeria is the most important African country. It has the largest population. And obviously there's a vying for control between, on the one hand, the Islamic states of Nigeria and the Christian states of Nigeria. And it used to be about 50-50, but because the Islamist movement, Boko Haram and others, they want to apply force, the jihadist force, this sort of gruesome killing that we've seen on October 7 in 2023 in Israel.
Yep.
So what is going on in Nigeria? The Islamists in Nigeria are killing Christians. They're burning their churches. They're raping their women. They are invoking blasphemy laws. So in the southern regions of Nigeria, Sharia law is the law. And if you say Ted Cruz has, he said something bad against Islam, you can have a mob come and lynch you, and there's nothing you can do about it. But then the government should be doing something about it, and the government isn't doing anything about it. Now, what is the characteristic of the government of Nigeria? It's corrupt. The elites in Nigeria, whether they're Muslim or whether they're Christian, they're in this bubble. And I think that bubble has to be burst. They're in a comfort bubble. I don't really think that they care about that much about, or are held responsible or accountable or transparent for what is going on with a large majority of the Nigerian population. And that's what you see. And we give a lot of money as the United States and legitimacy to this government. We've got to hold them accountable. And I couldn't be more pleased that you are involved in this, Senator Cruz. You're calling them out, and you're going to say, if you want to be our ally and our friend, we need you to uphold your end of being a responsible and responsive government. There's a goal.
There are more Christians being murdered in Nigeria than any country on planet Earth. Now, one thing you said that I thought was interesting, and I think many of our listeners will not have heard this before. You said in your judgment Nigeria is the most important African country. Tell our listeners why that is, because many will not have a deep familiarity with that.
It has the largest population. It has oil resources. The population is very young. It's English speaking, highly educated. Let me just give you an example. Kemi Badenoch, I hope the future Prime Minister of the United Kingdom, is from Nigeria and is Christian. So if we were, in our relationship with right now, Russia, China, etc., I think the continent as a whole, the continent of Africa, which is home to over 1 billion people.
Yes, and growing, a young population that is growing significantly.
It's the youngest population, and it's the only population on planet Earth that is growing as rapidly as it's doing.
Right.
And so Nigeria is strategically important. Nigeria is a sort of country that should be our ally. And there is a huge Christian population. That means they share norms and values with us. And we should not be abandoning Nigeria. And so and the population is pro-American. But then they are let down by their government. And I think that can change if we were even to bring a little bit of leverage down on them, because
we have that leverage. What when you say a little bit of leverage, what do you mean? Like what would the leverage look like that you think could literally save lives, especially Christian lives in Nigeria who are being attacked right now?
Well, it starts from the amounts of development aid money that we give them. We could apply sanctions. We could. I mean,
Well, and
we
my
have-
legislation would sanctions particular government officials. So government officials at the local level who are engaged in facilitating and acquiescing in this persecution. And so it's designed to use the power of the U.S. economy and U.S. sanctions to incentivize different behavior.
Absolutely. And incentivize the sort of legitimacy is really important for them to keep their money in America, all of these elites, the private jets, they come and they play in America, and American allies, even when they play in Europe, I think we have a say over that.
Sure.
But I don't want to go into the details of that, but I think we can leverage our influence to make the Nigerian government stop the violence immediately. They have Sharia law in the southern regions. We can say, and then we say, oh, human rights, this, that, and the other. Where you have Sharia law, you do not have human rights. Are you crazy?
Absolutely. Absolutely. And we need to stand up and we need to fight vigorously to prevent it here in the United States. Okay, final topic, and we're going to wrap up.
This is supposed to be an inhaler.